Welcome everybody to another episode of The Cody Miller Show, brought to you right here on my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Cody Miller. Thank you guys for joining me today as we talk about all the things in the world of swimming. That's current events, that's news, that's training, that's racing, that's anything that you, the viewers, choose to talk about. Before we get started, how do you get your question answered by me on one of my Cody Miller Show episodes or maybe in one of my weekly vlogs? It's easy. Make sure you guys are following me on social media at SwimMiller on Twitter and at Cody Miller on Instagram. Send me a question anytime, especially when I ask questions in a caption on an Instagram post. Or the best way to get a main topic on the show is to send me an email to thecodymillershow@gmail.com. That's thecodymillershow@gmail.com. And maybe you'll see your question show up on one of my shows. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, I've done like 4 shows in a row where my autofocus was not working. I'm having serious camera technical difficulties, and it looks to me like it's clear and it's focused, right? Like it looks okay. So I hope that when I go and check this later, it's not like super out of focus and shitty and you guys are like, Cody, fix your camera. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best, I'm trying. Also, I think this is probably gonna be the last show that I do that's not live. Like I'm working towards being able to do it live because here's the deal. I've got this camera set up, I film the show, I then have to upload it into an editing software just to export it because I gotta cut out the beginning and cut out the end, and I'm trying to cut down on my editing time. And it's a really big file size, so it takes a long time to transfer to the computer, to transfer to the program, then to transfer back to the desktop, and then I have to upload it. And uploading a 30-minute show, like that file size takes a lot, so it's very time consuming. So it's gonna cut down on time if I can do it live. Also, I feel like if I can start doing this show live regularly, I can take live questions, and then I'll be able to take more questions and I'll be able to get through more questions, and I think it'll just work out better for everybody. I'll be able to because the purpose of the show is taking questions from the audience and from people who watch my vlogs regularly, which I wanna do and I wanna do more of, but it needs to be done timely and right, so that's what we're shooting for. So keep an eye out for that. I'm thinking about starting to do it probably Thursday evenings. I think Thursday evenings is probably the time I'm going to start doing it. Probably around 7 or 7:30 p.m. and it'd be about, you know, like a 30-minute show. And my plan is to like have it'll go up live and then boom, right when the show is over, like you can go back and rewatch it. But I'm kind of learning how to live stream it to YouTube. But I want to keep the quality good. Like I don't really want to just use my webcam on my computer because I think that looks kind of meh. I want to be able to use this. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, little inside baseball here. I'm recording this on Tuesday, what's today? The 9th. You're seeing this on Friday because this show goes up every Friday. By the time you're seeing this, I'm now in Richmond, Virginia, competing at the Richmond Tier Pro Series meet, which I'm very excited about. It will be the 5th weekend in a row where I've been out of town. I've been doing a ton of travel, which is great. I can't complain about it, but I literally just got back from practice this morning and Ray kicked my ass this morning. And they killed me last night too. They were like, yeah, you're just not gonna get any rest for this meet. We're just gonna beat the crap out of you. So that's because we're planning on resting in about a month for the Bloomington Pro Series, the Bloomington Pro Series meet we're gonna try to swim really well at. And then also I have another meet, the FINA Championship Series meet. 2 weeks after that, I'm also planning on shaving for that meet. So we're in like this is like our heaviest training block right now that I'm in. And so this meet, sometimes it sucks to swim tired. Like I'm gonna be very tired, but you know, you kind of have to deal with that. Like you kind of have to go into a meet sometimes, you know, expecting for it to be a little bit rough, but doing your best given the circumstances. And then knowing that, you know, the more rest you get and the tighter your practices get and the way you work through the season, you just steadily improve. So I'm looking forward to that. So enough about that. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. If you see me there, come say hi. It'll be cool. Maybe you can be in the vlog. Let's get started on the show. Okay, so today's gonna run a little quickly. Our first topic of the day, as we're already 4 minutes and 45 seconds into the show, is pools in America. I get these questions all the time. So our first question comes to us from Brady Michaels, who asks, hey Cody, my sister, my mom, and I love your videos. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. I would like to ask you to rank your top 10 favorite pools you have been to, and my sister would want to ask, what is your favorite place you have been to because of swimming? Good luck in Richmond. Thanks, Brady. Thank you for asking that. I appreciate it. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about pools and ranking them, and I think I may make like a whole video on this. But like off the top of my head, my favorite pool in the country is the IUPUI Natatorium, which is actually one of my pools. It's one of the Indiana University pools, but it's in Indianapolis. I love that pool for so many reasons, but that's my favorite pool. I also love Ohio State's pool. That's a good competition pool. I also love the Iowa pool, the University of Iowa. They have a great pool. And also the pool in Des Moines that I was in. I was in Iowa just a few weeks ago for the Pro Series meet, and that YMCA pool, I said it was the best YMCA pool I've ever been to. I love that pool. Nothing really compares to the environment of Omaha, of Olympic trials. So every 4 years, they host Olympic trials in what used to be the Q West Center in downtown Omaha, and it's this giant arena that seats like close to 20,000 people, and they build a Murtha pool just in this arena. It's really, really cool. And then they end up selling that pool afterwards to like a club team. So those pools actually, they take it apart and then they ship it off, and then like a team gets it, which is super cool. So obviously Omaha, but that's like not like a real pool. It's kind of a fake pool. I love the Santa Clara pool in California. I love that pool. I love the Irvine pool in California. God, I've had some great swims there. I've also had some terrible meets there. My meet where I did horrible last summer was there. But I've had some great swims there. I think that's a great idea though. I feel like I'll do a video on like my all-time favorite pools. There's a pool in Dubai that was really cool. I can't remember the name of the venue that I swam a World Cup at. That was really, really cool. I've been fortunate enough to swim at a lot of really cool pools around the world. Very, very lucky. And it's cool, it's fun. Some pretty cool ones in Australia. Okay, and my favorite place that I've traveled to, I don't know, maybe Australia. Maybe Australia. I'll just go with that for now. Thank you very much for the question. Okay, our second topic today is also revolves around pools. It's training pools. So our next question comes to us from Joe. Joe asks, "Hi Cody, I love your vlogs, watch them every week. Thank you very much. Cody, do you think that the size of the pool you train in makes a difference in your race times? Like if you train in a 25-meter pool but have to race in a 50-meter pool, so then you're not as used to the 50-meter pool, or should it make no difference at all? Keep inspiring, Cody." From Wade. Oh, sorry. It says Joe up here, but it says, okay, from Wade. Wade, thank you for the question. So, a little bit of insight here. I pretty much only race long course at this point in a 50-meter pool, but the majority of my training is done in a 25-yard pool. So I don't think that it really matters. It helps being able to swim long course, like swim in a long course pool, but you don't need to train in a 50-meter pool all the time, and vice versa. I think that there's benefits to having a combination of two, but like, for example, I know high-level Olympic national team swimmers who live in California who never swim long course. Never swim long course. They don't do any long course. Yet all of the racing and competing that they do is in the long course format. So kind of take that as you will. My two main breaststroke practices a week, Monday afternoon and Thursday afternoon, those are both short course yards practices. And yet I'm training to race long course. So a lot of times we'll do sets where we use like a tempo trainer and we set the tempo to whatever the long course 100-meter, whatever my long course 100-meter tempo is. And we do that for 25s, which is actually really beneficial because a lot of times you can't hold full race pace for a full 50 meters long course, but you might be able to hold it for 25 meters. So we do that. But ultimately, no. Like ultimately, I think the most important thing is that you make the best of what you have. Is it nice to be able to have both? Yes, but ultimately at the end of the day, Like for example, Ian Crocker, a guy that a lot of you guys have probably never heard of, but Ian Crocker was the world record holder in the 100-meter butterfly. He was, I think, the first person to ever go 50 point in the 100 butterfly, and this was like way back in like 2004. So he swam with Michael Phelps when Michael Phelps was young. And when he lived in Maine, like he grew up swimming in Maine, which is actually where my best friend James is from. He never swam in a long course pool. Never swam in a long course pool before he got to college. And then very shortly after that's when he made the Olympics. So you never really know. Thank you very much for the question. Super appreciate it. And now on to our third topic of the day. And our third topic of the day is about race distances. And this comes to us from, sorry, I'm trying to find it on my phone. Rodrigo. Okay, Rodrigo says, hi, what is the main difference between a 200 and a 50-meter race? You're probably asking breaststroke. And also, can you really increase fast twitch over slow twitch muscle fibers? I don't, okay, to answer your second part, I don't like to take two questions at a time, but for one, I don't think that you can actually increase your fast twitch muscle fibers. I think that that's something that you're pretty much born with. However, you can train them and activate them to perform better, but like you can't, I don't think that's something you can actually physiologically increase. But that's besides the point. That doesn't matter. The main question, the difference between the 50 and a 200 of all strokes. So, short course meters and short course yards, 200s are so different from a 200 long course. Like they're two different worlds. For example, in a 200 meter backstroke, or sorry, in a 200 short course meter backstroke or a 200 short course yards backstroke, you're spending about 50, most high level swimmers are swimming 50% of that race underwater and sometimes more because there are really good backstrokers who kick out to about 15 meters. You know, you're allowed to kick out to 15 meters off of every wall. That means that basically almost 3/4 of every lap is underwater. So it becomes about, so it's very much focused on your underwater dolphin kicks and a little bit of swimming. And then you switch to long course and all of a sudden you can kick to 15 meters, but you still have 35 meters of swimming. So now you have, you know, 70% of the race is actually above water. So they're radically different. And then there's also turns, like how good are you, coming in and getting off the walls. So they're two different worlds. The same is to be said for breaststroke. Like the 200-yard breaststroke, when I do a pull-out, I'm getting to halfway. So 50% of my race is underwater. Long course, not the case. So there's that difference. But then also the differences in distances, right? Like, so the same is true for pretty much all strokes. A 50-meter race is a radically different stroke from the stroke you would swim in a 200 race. And it's the same for everybody. So like, you look at a guy like Caleb Dressel, who is obviously like basically the best 50 freestyler in the world right now. He does the 200 freestyle. And when he swims the 200 freestyle, it looks nothing like when he swims the 100 freestyle or when he swims specifically the 50 freestyle, because they're different stroke rates and it's very, very different. And I mean, I can speak to the differences in strokes for breaststroke. Like a 50 breaststroke stroke is so different from a 200 breaststroke stroke and very different from a 100 breaststroke stroke. Very different. From the length of the stroke rate, you know, what your tempo is, those kinds of things. So it's very different. And it's one of the hardest thing in the sport of swimming, I think, is being able to master that stroke for the 50, but then that stroke for the 200, because they're radically different. Very few people can do all of them really, really well. It's funny, like my best friend Blake, you guys see him in the vlogs all the time, he's a really good 50 freestyler. He's one of the best 200 freestylers in the world, and for him, he's actually faster in the 50 free when he breathes every stroke, which doesn't make, when you think about it, at first doesn't make any sense, because when you're breathing, you're taking your head out of the water, you're rotating, your body's becoming unbalanced, and therefore you're slower. Whereas most of the time when you put your head down, you're able to have a higher turnover rate, you're able to grab more water, and you're not moving as much, and so you're able to swim at a higher velocity for a short period of time. But the way Blake swims freestyle, he rotates super far onto one side, and he's really powerful when he gets that rotation. And when he breathes, he's allowed to have that rotation. But when he doesn't breathe, like when he keeps his head down, he doesn't get that same rotation. And so he's not getting as much out of his catch, out of his pull. He's not utilizing his whole side as much. So it's actually faster for him to swim a more 100-like stroke in a 50-meter race, if that makes sense. So to answer your question, yeah, just talking about the differences, they're so radically different. I mean, even Lily, even a swimmer like Lily, you watch Lily swim the 50 breaststroke, and then you watch Lily swim the 200 breaststroke, and obviously her rate, her tempo is extremely high on the 50 and not so high on the 200, but how much she glides, how much time she takes in between the separation of her pull and her kick, all those things change. There's like little minute changes. So it's really, I describe it as having gears. So you have different gears within your stroke, but at the end of the day, at the end of two spectrums, it's almost like two different strokes. Oh, we just nerded out real hard, real hard. Thank you for the question. Moving on to our final topic of the day, and our final topic of the day comes to us from Anton, and Anton says, "Hi Cody, first of all I want to tell you, I'm literally getting a phone call from my wife. Allie's calling me, one sec. Hello?
Hey, are you home?
I am, I'm doing a show right now, so I'm recording, I'm kind of recording live right now.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I've got
yeah,
the car, so I
okay, okay. Do you need me to come late? Can you use the keypad to get in the garage? Can, yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, all right.
Or it's not. Okay. So she can't get in. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna edit this out. Not doing it. Allie's. Anyway, our question. Antoine. Sorry. Oh, Allie's throwing me off right now. All right. They're really good. Okay. Thank you for your vlogs. They're really good, and especially your positive attitude and the fun you have during practices gives a lot of energy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, on to the question. Blah, blah, blah. Last week I saw you swimming with this new device, the Edge device. I'm really curious about your opinion. Can you tell me something about it with your experiences, and if the device is accurate in measuring split times, stroke counts, etc. Also, because I did not see that you were okay, so what he's asking about, thank you for the question, is there's this new device being made by this company called Flex. And if you guys watched my video, you might have saw a couple of the Flex guys in the background. And that's because they have this new product. I kind of described it as, by the way, this is in no way, shape, or form a sponsored video for them. So I'm gonna be real with you. It's a fitness tracker that you wear in your swim cap, and it monitors your heart rate. And it tracks your strokes, and the laps you did. It follows through your workouts. I kind of describe it as like a Fitbit, but specifically for swimmers. And I've actually got it. I think I have it right over here. Okay, so this is what it comes in. It comes in like a little case. I think they're available for pre-order. I don't think you can buy them yet, but this is not the final product. This is a prototype. It's almost done, so it's still a work in progress. But it's kind of cool. To charge it, you just plug it in here, and it comes in this little box thing. And then the second you take it out, it's not charged right now, but this little thing right here kind of sits on your temple, and you slide your goggle straps through there. Anyway, so the device itself I was skeptical of, because I was like, it's really hard to get something to accurately track your heart rate, number one. Number two, I wasn't sure how a device was gonna be sophisticated enough to actually be able to understand what I'm doing in the pool. And number three, I was really worried about wearing something that was gonna feel intrusive, that like I was gonna be aware that I was wearing it. I was like, what's up with this? So, is this a good product? And after using it a few more times, and I'm going to continue to use it to really give a full accurate assessment, so I'm gonna talk about this in a vlog, but I actually really liked it. Like, I really liked it. No bullshit, like I think it's really cool. And I think it can be extremely beneficial, especially for our middle distance guys, especially for some of our longer training sessions, because number one, the heart rate tracking in it was actually quite amazing. It's cool. It's got this little, little light signals on the device that during practice it's constantly tracking your heart rate, and my coach can be on the pool deck and look over and see me wearing the device, and it's emitting a color, and that color is coded to like a chart that basically says this is the zone that your heart rate is in. So just by Ray looking at me, seeing me wearing this device, seeing this light, he knows exactly what my heart rate is at when I'm sitting at the wall, which is pretty cool. So just by seeing it, it's like, okay, it's green, okay, it's blue, okay, it's orange, whatever. He knows what the color means, so he knows what my heart rate is at, which is good for a coach's perspective. Number two, it does accurately track what you're doing in the workout. So I was shocked when the guys came and I swam like a 4,000 yard set, and I mean, there's an app that you sync it with, and the app was like, okay, this lap you did this, this lap you did this lap you did this, and I was like pretty blown away by how accurate it was. Like I said, it's not quite done yet. It's gonna launch soon. They're working out all the little bugs, but I was shocked. And it was really cool. So I do see this as something that could provide value for all levels of swimmers, not just people like at me at a super high level, but just normal swimmers who are looking for little things to help improve their training. And I'm not gonna get into it because I could probably do like a full 30-minute video talking about all the things that this device does, because it is pretty cool. But right now I would say, like, I do recommend, if you're a swimmer, I do recommend getting one. Like I do, because it's something that I think Allie's coming in. It's something that I'm going to use regularly, and that a lot, like my team is going to start using these things regularly, which is exciting and it's cool. So I'm gonna use it and talk more about them and show them in a vlog. But for now, I think it's dope. So I think you guys should, definitely. I do recommend pre-ordering one. Go to their website, check it out. Check out the Flex Edge. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Okay, now we're moving on to our Instagram questions. These are questions that I've just pulled from my Instagram. Eventually, I'm gonna try to make this like the live section of the show. Let's fly through some questions. So our first question comes to us from Dapper Dan, who asks, "Hey Cody, what was the name of the powder mix you called Healthy Gatorade? I've been going through your videos and trying to find the name of it." Okay, so in practice, if you guys see me drinking that like yellow fluid, sometimes I get the orange one. It's called Endura by Metagenics. By the way, Metagenics, let's work something out. Like, you're not sponsoring me, but I'll promote your products for you. Let's make this happen. Endura by Metagenics, it's a really, really good product. I recommend drinking that. I try to stay away from Gatorade because I don't like corn syrup. And I don't like things that are like ultra high in sugar. So there's that. Okay, next question comes from Filippo, who asks, "What are your thoughts on triathlons? Will you ever try one? Maybe when you're retired?" Maybe. I have like the utmost respect for triathletes. That stuff's really hard. I actually could see myself doing something like that, but with my knees it might be difficult because the running would not be good on my knees. But maybe. I mean, the biking is certainly something I could really get into. Cycling is something that I'll probably, as I transition out of competitive swimming a lot, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna keep swimming my whole life, but I will get into cycling. Thank you for the question. It's good cross-training. Can't pronounce your name, but John Stone says, "What's the farthest you've ever swam?" In one workout, like 12,000? I've done 12,000 before in a workout. I did a 10K open water race once. That's a story for another time, but it was brutal. It was brutal. Thank you for the question. Next question comes to us from Castano, who asks, "What is your favorite part of college swimming?" It's the team environment, dual meets, coming together and racing as a unit and doing relays all the time. Also, like, collegiate rivalries are fun. There are so many elements of college swimming that I love that I miss. There's a lot of things. Okay, next question comes to us. "What do you think about the Texas-Cal rivalry?" This is from Paulus. Rainius_Paulus. I just butchered your name. I think it's great. You know, they're the top two teams in the country right now, and it's been that way for the past, generation. Or one cycle, I mean, four years. It's good. I mean, they push each other to get better. It makes the sport fun. I have friends on the Texas team. I have friends on the Cal team. I think it's great. They went 1-2 at NCs. I will point out, obviously being the guy from Indiana, the team got third. On average, if you average the number of points scored individually by each swimmer, if you average them out, Indiana had the highest performance out of all their guys at NCAAs. Just a fact. So on average, our guys on the Indiana team outscored the guys on other teams simply because we don't have the numbers. So we're getting third at NCs with way less swimmers than a Texas or a Cal. And the same can be said for like a school like NC State. Like they're competing at a super high level with less guys. The Cal and Texas just happen to have depth because they have more guys. But that's a whole other topic, whatever. That's not a slight on anybody. All those teams, everybody's great. It's totally cool. Thank you for the question. Next question comes to us from Matthew Beecher, who says, if you could be one Avenger, who would you be? I'm not saying this is my favorite Avenger, but I would want to be Thor. I would want Thor's powers. I also think Scarlet Witch's powers are pretty dope. Scarlet Witch's powers are pretty cool. But I would actually want powers. Like I wouldn't want to just be like Tony Stark and Iron Man. Like I wouldn't want to just wear a suit. Like I would want real powers. Great question. God, I could talk about this stuff forever. Next question. If you could eat one processed food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Probably like just the first thing that came to my mind is In-N-Out. I would eat In-N-Out burgers. Oh God, they're so good. And I'm not a burger guy. I'm not like a cheeseburger guy. Like I don't eat a lot of beef. I really don't. But an In-N-Out burger would, In-N-Out burger. Sponsor me, please. Please. Maybe Buffalo's wings. Good God, those are good. Okay, great question. Next question comes to us from Spencer. As you moved from your last year of NCAAs into professional swimming world, were you intimidated by the places that you were swimming at or the people you were swimming against? Love your YouTube channel. Thank you. Was I intimidated in becoming a pro swimmer by the people I was going to race against? No, not really. Here's the thing. I raced really fast swimmers at a young age. Like I remember racing Olympic champion breaststroker Kazuka Kitajima when I was very young and in high school. I remember the first time I raced Brennan Hansen. I remember the first time I raced Phelps when I was a young teenager. And what I learned over the years is you cannot focus on who you're racing. And I know that that's hard, but you can't focus on who's in the lane next to you. You have to focus on yourself. You want to be competitive, obviously, but you can't let those things control what you're going to do. So by the time I became a pro, you know, swimming at NCAAs had prepared me to swim against the fastest swimmers in the country for years. So at that point, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I had nerves, I had fears, I had, you know, things that I was concerned about, but who I was racing was not one of those things. So thank you for the question. Okay, next question. Favorite breakfast? Right now, my favorite breakfasts are romaine lettuce wraps that I then put hummus on, and I'm going with really lean white chicken breast, like grilled chicken breast, and put a bunch of vegetables on there, you know, a bunch of onions, a bunch of spinach. Yeah, I really love hummus with those chicken wraps. Those are what I'm doing right now for breakfast, and then like a good bowl of fruit, like some berries. Thanks for the question. Maybe I'll do a video about that. Sarah asks, do tech suits really make a big difference for long distance freestyle? Yes, they do. Tech suits make a big difference for everything. And 100% for, I mean, maybe even more so for the longer the race, the more it's gonna help keep your hips up, the more it's gonna help keep you buoyant, the more it's gonna help. I mean, the way that the new suits are designed, it helps the legs snap and keep those legs right back into place. Oh, absolutely. Okay. And I think we are now on our last question. How do you deal with people's reaction to your pectus excavatum? Allie just got in. I'm gonna shut the door. I'll be out in a minute. One sec. Okay, Allie's home. Okay, how do you deal with it? I just don't care anymore. I got over it after used to really care about it. Used to bother me. I used to be super self-conscious about it. I just don't care about it anymore. I do not care. I do not care at all what people think about those things. I just don't. But there was a point in time when I was extremely self-conscious about it. It just took me a long time to get over it. I just realized everyone has insecurities. Everyone has something about themselves they don't like, and that's okay. And now I'm just like, whatever. I will go into that topic much more later on. I think that's like an important thing to discuss. You know, kind of getting onto body image and me dealing with pectus excavatum. Oh, that question was about like the hole in my chest. That's what that is. Okay, so Allie's home now, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching my show today. Once again, if you're in Richmond, come say hey. Vlogs every Wednesdays. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on social media at SwimMiller on Twitter and at Cody Miller on Instagram. Yeah, share my videos with your swimmer friends. That really helps me. Keep sending in those questions. I'm gonna work on structuring the show and trying to make it a little bit better. And until my next video, I will see you later.